Shemai Friendy, and welcome back to my channel. My name is CaitlinAnwyn for anyone who's new here, and let's get back into Planet Zoo. And I'm continuing to build my underwater zoo. Again, I'm really loving building this. As I said in my last video, this is just so much fun for me. I'm loving how creative all of this is, and I just want to build all of the wacky zoos now. I'm really loving this. So today I am building some construction because, as I said in the first episode of this little speed build series, I don't want my guests to see the outside world. They're never going to escape. They're trapped in here. Exit through the gift shop style, because today we are making a gift shop. And more than a gift shop, actually, we're just building like a group of shops and all of the facilities that guests need. So at the moment I'm doing the entrance for our grey seals, which is nice because I can just kind of copy and paste a few things. I thought I'd break up the building between habitats and like buildings like this, because otherwise I think it might get a little bit tedious. I don't want to do too much building in a row, and I don't want to do too many habitats in a row. I wanted to like break it up a little bit for me and for people watching. So this is why we've done one building, two habitats, and now we're doing another building, and then we'll probably finish off with another two habitats and then a building of some sort for our exhibit animal. So this is going to be the entrance tunnel for the grey seals, and I had this weird little nook by here that I wasn't really happy with how the path looked in there. I wanted to put those grey seal statues in to show the guests that they are going to be entering into the grey seal area. So I put this little like water effects on to make it look kind of like a little fountain area, and let's just pretend that the barriers from the paths are holding in that water, because I'm not good with this at all. But I really like the seal statues, and I didn't want them like balancing on one arm like they are in the beginning, so I've like rotated them around and made them sort of lie on that little area there. So it's like a kind of statue fountain centerpiece. I don't know, like a little interesting part for these guests, because they're just kind of walking underground a lot and in under the shelters a lot. So I wanted it to be interesting for each different part of the walkways to have a different sort of look to them. But yeah, I'm not sure about this green wall. I don't know whether to change this one to blue and have like the icy blue wall to get down into the grey seals, and then use the green mural wall for the dwarf caiman and giant otters. I will remember these. Which one should I do next? Because obviously I've done all the buildings with this one. We're going to do some shops, and you will see that coming up now. But obviously I wanted to show how I was building the entrances and exits to the habitats too, because I said in the last one a lot of this is man-made, and then in the habitat itself I sort of show that you're going into the habitat by using those faux rocks to give like a little natural hint to it. So I want to show you how I've done these man-made parts as well, because I'm super proud of myself. I could not build before doing this, and I've learnt a few different tips and tricks for doing things that I kind of wanted to share with you. I really enjoy adding natural light in through the roof, because obviously I don't want windows, I don't want them seeing the outside world. So I add in lots of glass roof pieces just to make it a lot more interesting. And then I wanted to go on to making some shops. So to get out of the seal habitat, you exit and you find some shops and some facilities just for the guests. I'm keeping to the blue theme because I want everything to look quite consistent in this zoo. I don't know whether I'm going to do that in a future zoo or not. I can't believe I'm still like, I'm so excited about building these things, and I've really enjoyed myself so much building this. So you could kind of tell because I'm thinking about more zoos to build, even though I've not finished this one. I want this to be a very immersive zoo for my guests. I want them to feel like they are consistently under the water and all sort of aquatic styles with everything. So the walls that I just built are sort of blocking those side areas from the paths, and then I thought I could put in some shops and some facilities like the information center and the bathroom in between the two walls under the solid roof part, so all of the guests are still going to be under the glass. The drink shop kind of went a bit funny, I don't know why, but it was kind of merging through my wall even though it was in the exact same place as the food shop, but I fixed that by just using a panel. And because I'd hidden all of the shop features behind the walls, I wanted to make sure that I was adding some signs on the shops, so I knew what they were. I don't think the guests really care, but it's just like a nice little feature, so you can kind of tell what shop is where, and you don't have to click on it to know which shop is which, because everything's all covered and hidden, which the guests really like. Like, they love the scenery and everything in this zoo. The guests love, like, all of the feedback that you get from the guests is that the facilities are hidden well, which I was really happy with. I've tried really hard to hide all of the facilities in this zoo, which, if you've watched my career mode playthrough, you will know I've never really given that much of a shit. I just whack it down and just hope for the best. This is like my most detail oriented zoo. So we have like nice little details like the signs on top of the little windows for the shops. And I was super happy to see that the bathrooms even fit in a 1 tile square too. The pre-made bathrooms are a 1x2 as you look at it, but I didn't have like a frame to go around the bathrooms to hide the bathrooms, so I fixed that with some panels, because the panels you can move more freely than you can with the walls. So I discovered there's probably a different way of doing that, but I just used the panels and used the panels to cover the walls slightly at the entrance and in the middle, so I'm kind of hiding the majority of what the bathroom looks like. Technically they don't need these canopies because everything's under a shelter anyway. I just wanted to make it more aquatic themed than it already was. Like, it's just blue at the moment, not really themed enough for me yet. And then I found these like frames to go around the shop, so I've added them in, and I've had to move the signs for the shops because I put these frames in, but I think that it just looks a little bit more aquatic themed. As I say it again, I just wanted to put the theming a lot more around these things because I didn't want it to be too plain and boring. I'm really loving it. And then I discovered these grass walls and I was just like, yes, these are beautiful. I'm so excited. I love these grass walls. I love the different textures in them. So that's what I grabbed to block off this area between the sloped and the stairs up to the shops. And the whole theme around Planet Zoo is a lot of conservation and global warming and trying to look after your planet. So plants are great for global warming, so that's why I've added those in too, and they just look good. So these are the stairs that I've already built. We'll just ignore them for now. And I just want to show a little bit of how I block off the stairs and the terrain around it, because the tunneling makes the terrain a little ugly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the way it looks, and I want the guests in this zoo to feel like they're in a secure area, and I think just these holes with these gaps just look dangerous. So I use these panels and I group them together to cheat, basically, because putting one panel at a time takes forever. I group them together to duplicate, and then I use the free rotation tool when you press X on the keyboard to pull them up and down and line them up nicely with the stairs, and just block off that gap between the stairs and the terrain, so it just doesn't look as deathly, because at the moment I feel like my little guests could fall off these stairs and get trapped underneath the stairs. I know they won't actually do that, but I want them to feel safe. So this is how I make like the man-made part of the entrances. And then I wanted an extra little detail in the area where the shops are, instead of it just being plain, just like a hallway with just a glass roof above it. I wanted this area to be slightly more interesting too. Like they have a look at like those big plant walls. They look great. Then you go into this little quadrant of shops, which I thought looked a little bit more plain. So I've raised the roof a bit. And I'm gonna do a double glass roof to make it look like there's water flowing above the glass. I've made it look like there's waterfalls behind vertical glass, and now I wanted to see whether I could make it look like there was water flowing on horizontal glass above their head, so it still makes it feel like they're under the water. And I was testing this at the same time. My guests can actually get to all of these shops, which is amazing. You can see them all queuing up to get some food. And this one, which is the rapids, I think, effect, looked amazing from below, basically. Yeah, I really liked how this looked. It looked like the water was flowing over the glass instead of it kind of just bubbling on top of it, which kind of clipped through the bottom and kind of sprayed through. But this one doesn't clip underneath at all, and it just kind of looks like there's flowing water above their heads, which I really like. I love the effect this does, and because I've done it in two different directions as well, it looks a bit more interesting, and it stops it going through the walls as well. So yeah, that's just like an added little detail. It kind of makes it look like the shops are still underwater with this effect on. And this is going to be a blueprint as well. If I can figure out how to put them on Steam, let me know if you want this as a blueprint and you would like to put it in your zoo. And then I wanted to add another shopping area for the penguins too. So I switched the shops from the seal one, other than the information and the bathrooms, of course. So I changed up all of the signs, made them specific to the shops that I had, so I knew what shops were where. Of course, I try and remind myself, and then the guests will know too. And then I remembered that I hadn't put any bins and benches in, so I popped them in this one, and then I go back and change the add them into the other one as well. But it's quite nice for the guests to sit by this like green area, and now I'm sort of decorating it to make it specific to the habitat. So putting nice penguin signs up in this one, but I've put some conservation boards at the end as well to up my education rating too, because I like lots of education, and I like putting the conservation boards down to show some like global warming stuff, because that's going to be more of the theme of this zoo. So we want to make sure our guests are nice and educated as they are grabbing some snacks as well. And then putting some seal signs by the seal shops and penguin signs by the penguin shops. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the little shopping area for this zoo. I think I might be duplicating this and just changing some of the signs and the general theme for the other animals. What should we do next week? What animal habitat should I build? Should I do the dwarf caimans next, or the giant otters? I have some ideas for their habitats. I know the giant otters live in tropical rainforests with rivers, and the dwarf caimans live in swampy areas and rivers. So let me know what animal I should build a habitat for next, and what kinds of habitats they should have. Do you like my ideas, or do you have some other suggestions? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and if you haven't already and you would like to, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I usually upload on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but that might be changing, I'm not sure. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!